Going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the Intelligent Investor channel. Today we're going to be talking about Litecoin. We're going to be talking about how Litecoin has been moving 2 months before the Litecoin halving event occurs. This event typically drives Litecoin price higher, and there's a few things happening on the Litecoin network aside from all the commotion from the event that's coming up that has been making Litecoin a promising investment and a coin that could potentially explode in the near future. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about Litecoin's price, where it's at today, how it's been moving the last couple of months. We're going to see Litecoin's all-time high and talk about how it could potentially break that all-time high. I'm talking about a 4-5x gain at the very least. And we're also going to go over an article explaining how Litecoin has been having more activity in the last couple of days, and we have actually seen more volume on Litecoin in the last week than we have in other networks like Bitcoin. So a lot to talk about today. If you like to watch other analysis and videos I do on other cryptos, please don't forget to hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so I can let you know when I drop the next one. So as you can see today, Litecoin is at a $93.78 price. It is currently ranked number 12 in top crypto in terms of market cap, and it's actually dropped a position the last couple of days. We're going to see what coins are above Litecoin and why I think that Litecoin could enter the top 10 very soon. Before we look at the price, as you can see, Litecoin has had a few price hikes, and compared to where we are now, we're talking about at least a 4x gain. But I want to talk about activity and what's been going on with Litecoin in the last couple of weeks. A lot of people are thinking that Litecoin is just going up because of the halving event. And although that may be true, obviously people are trying to get prepared and holding their coins with anticipation that the price is going to skyrocket as we get close into the halving event. That's not the only reason why Litecoin has been going up. The Litecoin network has actually been getting used by a lot more people, and we're going to first go over this article, talking a little bit more about the Litecoin halving, and then we're going to transition into another article, which we're just going to go over a few short parts, talking about how Litecoin have been having more movement in the last couple of weeks. As the highly anticipated halving event approaches, Litecoin LTC has witnessed a surge in activity, positioning itself for potential growth. With its third halving event scheduled for August 10th, Litecoin price has already experienced a boost, climbing to $92. The reduction of the peer block reward from 12.5 LTC to 6.25 LTC is expected to drive increased demand and potentially lead to a surge in price. History has shown that halving events often act as a catalyst for growth, making the Litecoin community eagerly anticipate the forthcoming event. Here they explain a few things that's been going on the Litecoin network. In that includes robust network activity. Data from the In the Block revealed a robust Litecoin network with an increasing number of addresses holding a balance. Reaching nearly 8.5 million, the network has witnessed a surge in the new activity and addresses, often surpassing those of Bitcoin. The growing on-chain volume also indicates a rising interest from institutional investors as Litecoin gains traction ahead of the halving event. These positive metrics contribute to the overall health and vibrancy of the Litecoin network. Now, let me just say that more addresses doesn't necessarily mean that more people are hopping on Litecoin naturally. It can be more people getting Litecoin because of the halving event. And as we get closer, I'm assuming more content creators, other people are going to talk about Litecoin halving event and the potential it has driving more people to create addresses. But what I do like here is that it seems as if institutional investors are also jumping onto Litecoin, which that is good, because if all that money comes in, that should mean that we will potentially see higher prices. Now, in this next article here, we're also just going to go over a few short parts where we're going to see how there's been increased network activity ahead of the halving in Litecoin. The article says, data from Into the Block suggested that Litecoin had a strong month. Since the end of April, the total addresses count with a balance has increased intensely. There are currently 8.5 million LTC addresses with a balance last week. We can see here, let me just move this a little bit. This is the green line of people who have balances in their wallet with Litecoin, and you can see how this has just been surging. And it's not like it's just been surging this year. You can see that since 2021, this pump has started. It's just parabolically going up now because of the Litecoin halving event. So people are definitely hopping into Litecoin, as you can see by the masses. Down here, they continue saying, both new and active addresses count have been hovering close to the fresh all-time high established in February this year. In fact, new addresses being created on the Litecoin network briefly surpassed new Bitcoin addresses. Crypto analytic platform Sentiment recently stated that if the trend of increased on-chain volume continues, it will be a strong sign that some big players are beginning to jump into their LTC investments in anticipation for the halving. So there you have it. More people are jumping in, potentially more institutional money could be going into Litecoin, which that should definitely give us that surge in Litecoin price. Now, if we come here to nicehash.com, this typically lets us know when the halving events are occurring, both for Litecoin and also for Bitcoin, and also for Bitcoin Cash, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, down here, Bitcoin SEV, Bitcoin Cash. As you can see, the Litecoin halving event, we still have 58 days till that occurs. Bitcoin halving event, 284 days. BSV, 292. And Bitcoin Cash, 300 days. Up here, we could see a more detailed countdown. As you can see, 58 days. This is in Spanish, because I was doing this for my Spanish channel as well. But okay, I guess here is in Spanish. We have 58 days, 17 hours, 21 minutes left for the Litecoin halving event. And at any time, you could come here to Nice Hash, and you'll be able to see this page in English, not in Spanish, so that you can know when the event is going to happen exactly. But less than 2 months. Litecoin is still under that $100 price, as we can see here. And if we look at Litecoin's all-time high, we're talking about a $390 price. That's more than a 4x from where we're at right now. We're talking about 4.5x, 4.2x. Good increase in your money. That is if Litecoin doesn't go to even higher prices. Now, the last halving event that occurred in Litecoin, if it's happened in 2023, it means that the last halving event was in 2019. 2019, I don't know if you remember, but it was a year into us being in the bear market. Around COVID 2020 is when we had those peak bottoms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin hit 3K. I think Litecoin dropped to like under 40 bucks, 30 bucks, 20 bucks. So that's when we had those bottom lows. Since then, Litecoin has been climbing. And the reason why I mentioned those times before COVID is because crypto in general wasn't widely accepted as it is now. Now we hear more regulation around the whole world. We're hearing people accepting crypto in their country overall. We have countries who have made Bitcoin their legal tender. What I'm trying to say with all that is that crypto is widely more accepted now than it was a few years ago. So this should also bring us to a higher bump in price in Litecoin. If it was able to reach $390 before, I don't see why we can't get to that $1,000 price. At least that's just my opinion. If we look at a more detailed chart, if we go here to trading view just to see how the price has been moving in the last couple of days and the last week, you can see that it's essentially making higher highs. Just yesterday, we got to a new peak of $95.77, something that we haven't seen in over a month. And it looks like we want to push back above that $102 price. As we can see here, the resistance that we have for this year is at around $105. With this halving event, we're definitely going to push above that. I mean, just look at how this uptrend is starting to get formed, right? We're getting these higher lows, and potentially we're going to break over this resistance. If we do break over this $105 price, if we try to look for prior resistance at a higher number, we can see that we're talking about around $120 price target. Usually when the halving event happens, we typically have a dip right before the halving event, and 12 to 18 months after the halving event, that's when we typically reach all-time highs. So definitely still time to buy if you think that Litecoin is going to obviously trend above the $100 price. And I wouldn't rush into it. We might have another capitulation event right before the Bitcoin halving occurs next year, dragging all these prices down. And since we typically see those rises 12 to 18 months after a halving event, at least for Bitcoin, for Litecoin, we have also seen similar movement, then this just kind of go hand in hand with that analysis that you shouldn't be in a rush to buy. But if you think that Litecoin is going to get above that $390, $400 price, I mean, you can buy now, you can buy at a lower price, price cost average as much as you can. But I'll say anything above this $120 price is when we should already start seeing much higher prices. So you should probably refrain from buying, or at least have some type of cutoff price. My cutoff price might be this $120, $100. I've been accumulating Litecoin in the last couple of months in preparation for the highs. When we got back in the $70 range just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I bought up more Litecoin. If we get another dip back down below $90, $80, I'll probably add on to that amount. I typically don't like to buy when the market is already surging throughout the day. I like to wait for those pullbacks. It might be that we don't get more pullback. So again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm definitely not your financial advisor. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. And at the end of the day, make sure to do your own analysis. Now, I'd like to know what you think about everything we've seen today. What do you think about the Litecoin halving in general? Do you think that after the Litecoin halving, we might see much higher prices than all-time highs? Do you think that we might get to those all-time highs before that Litecoin halving event? Maybe a lot of people just FOMO into this crypto and it starts skyrocketing. I would like to hear you guys' price predictions. I know that it's hard to do and sometimes it's irresponsible to do, but at the end of the day, why not have a little bit of fun? I'm not telling you to ape into this coin, put in all your life savings. No, it's another investment. It could potentially go our way or it could potentially not. So be prepared for that. At the end of the day, it is crypto. And if you have been in this space long enough, you know that anything can happen. But with that being said, I think we covered a good amount of Litecoin. At least we understand a little bit more about what's going to happen in the Litecoin halving. We understand a little bit more of the activity that's been going on in Litecoin in general and why this could bring the price to all-time highs and even beyond that. If you like this video, you'll like to see more content that has to do with Litecoin. You'll like to see crypto analysis of other cryptocurrency coins that I'll be doing. Please don't forget to hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so I can let you know when I drop the next one. As always, I would like to thank you for staying to the end. This is the Intelligent Investor channel and I'll see you on the next one.